I wasn't gonna film this before because it's not the kind of project that really suits a build video very well, at least not for me. Basically, it's a heat treatment oven that I have had the parts for about 3 years, and I've been putting off and putting off and putting off building it until just recently it occurred to me, you know, now's a good time because there's a knife coming up that I want to build, and the only real way for me to build that knife is to have it so that I can heat treat the blade. And unless I have, you know, unless I go buy a heat treat oven, I have to build one. And so here we go. Came over here to get a better pencil so I can put that one down. I'll use this. I need my square, which is right there. The heat treat oven, I'm going to talk about it for a second here. I wound the element in that video that I didn't do any talking, and I just did the winding. And this is a single element, and it's around 1500 watts. When you plug it into a regular 120 outlet, this is the way I've designed this oven, is very similar to a even heat lower end oven. I don't need anything that's really big, and I don't need anything that's really powerful either. I just need something that'll get up to temperature and heat up a single blade. I'm not going to be doing a batch of blades or anything like that, so I don't need a lot of space. But this is going to be a good size. It's going to be 4 bricks on the bottom. I'm just going to take those and lay them out on the metal, because that's part of what I want to do here today, is get these metal parts cut out from the sheet. I want to encase the whole thing in sheet metal, and then the door will be separate and it will swing out on a hinge. So this is basically the bottom right here. Okay, and then for the sides there'll be single bricks, and conveniently the single bricks are the same length as 2 bricks end to end like that, which is really good. And then of course there'll be 2 more on the other side like this, and that leaves me with a chamber that's not huge. It will be 4 inches wide and 4.5 inches tall, and then the element will wrap from this side and go around, and then the leads will go through the side here to the controller. That'll be on the side. So I'm just going to lay this here so I can get some better measurements for the metal I need to cut out. You got to be very careful with these bricks because they're so soft. Like, I had no idea before I bought these just how soft these things are. I mean, I can take it and mash it up basically with my hands if I, you know, felt the need to do that. I don't know why I have too many. But anyway, this short one will fit in the end there, and plug that. So, oh yeah, the other last 2 are for the door that goes on the front. I don't want the oven to sit down on right on the surface. I want the sides of these to extend down. So whatever this is, 9.5, say 9 5/8. I want it to extend down another 2 inches, so that'll be, I don't know, 11 5/8 or 11.5, we'll say. So I'm going to mark down those dimensions, and then I'm going to take this sheet metal outdoors and cut it up. Okay, I've got my metal sheet brought out, and the first piece I'm going to cut out is the bottom, and then I'm going to cut out the 2 sides, but I want to do something interesting with the sides. I was thinking about the design, and originally I was going to fully weld the whole thing together, but now I'm thinking that it would be better, more practical in the long run, if I could somehow make the top come apart. So I think what I'm going to do is create tabs that will interlock with the top. It'll slide forward and lock in, and you slide it back out and you can take it off. And that way you'll be able to access the bricks on the inside. You'll be able to take out the top bricks, and you'll be able to, say, replace the element easily rather than try to reach your arm down inside. I'm not planning on cementing any of these bricks together, so they'll be loose in there anyway. All right, I got that one cut, and I'm going to use that to mark the top. While I was cutting it, I was thinking about my idea to make tabs and realized that it's more complex than it actually needs to be. What I'll do instead is I will make the top so it on bolts or on screws. That's more practical, because you know, how many times you're going to be taking the, you know, changing the element or whatever. It's going to be a relatively rare event, so there's not much sense in building in a quick release thing if it's not going to be used often. I'm using the angle grinder with a zip cut blade rather than the plasma cutter I've got, because I want these cuts to be really clean and also precise. I don't want to have a lot of slop around the bricks. I want them to fit tightly inside this case without, you know, banging around. All right, I've got the major parts cut out for the body part of the oven, I guess you could say, top and bottom. And the two sides are right here. I had to actually go in and get the other sheet of metal and bring that out, and I cut the back as well. Now, once again, I've changed my mind again on how I'm going to put this together. I'm going to go back to fully welding it together, because I got to thinking about it again, and the bricks can slide in from the front, and then they can slide right back out through the front as well. The wires that come out of the thing for the element can go through the side, and they can fit through a slot that I'll cut in, so that you can slide the whole, say, package of bricks with the element inside it straight into the case, and they'll fit right through. So I think that's a sensible way to do it. I mean, if I'm going to weld it and I have the ability to weld it, I may as well take full advantage of that. But now, speaking of welding, I've got something I need to do before I can do any of that. I need to get rid of the paint that's on the back side of these panels, just on the edge though. I'm not going to bother taking it off the whole thing. I figure I can put the paint on the outside, and then I can repaint it, actually, because the outside of this is not even going to get hot. I've heated those bricks up before to heat treat temperature, and the outside of the bricks never even got warm enough that you couldn't touch them. Okay, I guess I'm on a bit of a roll here. I've got all the parts cleaned up, and originally I wasn't planning on welding this together today. I actually wasn't planning on bringing this stuff out and cutting it up. But I've done that, and I'm out here, and it's out here. So I brought the welding machine out, and I'm just going to tack it together. I'm going to go in and get the bricks and use those as spacers to make sure that they will fit after I get this thing put together. Now, I don't want these bricks in here super, super tight. Like I say, I want to be able to slide them out if I ever need to. But they also have to be in here relatively snugly so that they don't bang around. Now, this material that I'm using here is sheet metal, and this coating that you see on here looks like galvanizing, but it's actually something that's called Galvafroid, and I used to know what that meant specifically, but it's not the same as galvanization, and it's safe to weld, or safer, I guess, to weld than a true galvanized thing. Okay, I've taken the bricks and I've stacked them up inside there to space the bottom panel, which I have here. And to space that, you know, to give it a little bit of room, I've added this piece underneath it. And that should give me enough clearance for the bricks. And I'm just going to tack this side over here first. And then what I'll do is I'll slide the spacer over to the other side and tack that side as well. Alright, what I did was I ran a bunch of tacks down each side on the bottom there, so I have no intention of fully welding this. Tacks will work just fine. I'll slide out my metal, if it'll come, and then I can take my bricks out and weld in the end, or the back panel, I guess you could call it. Alright, so I got the back welded on. I really should have waited until I had the rest of this put together before I cut this out, because it was a little bit small and I had to, you know, do some make some bridges here with the welder, but no, it's just as strong. It doesn't have to be super duper duper strong, because it's not going to get, you know, kicked around. I mean, if you kick it around, you're going to break up the bricks anyway, so they'll go before the welds will. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up here,